Best bow of 2020. That's right, this is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and in this video, I'm going to review a bunch of bows and give you some ideas on what's the best bow for 2020. So today I had the opportunity to go over to Palo Outdoors here in Palo, Iowa, and shoot all the flagship bows. I think I shot about 7 or 8 different bows. I've got all the data on the computer right back behind me here. So I'm going to zoom in on that and show you the data right over my shoulder, and I'll talk you through it. Now, one of the things I'm going to point out is what are the best bows that I think are for this year and why. What was the fastest bow? What was the slowest bow? What was the loudest bow? What was the smoothest draw? Because the best bow is going to depend on the individual. Some people want a faster bow. Some people want a softer back wall. All that kind of data. I'm going to zoom in and show you what my test results yielded. I also have draw force curves for each bow. So let me zoom in and we'll go over each bow and I'll talk to you through that. And then in the end, I'll just name what I think are the best bows for this year. But I will say this. It doesn't matter what brand of compound bow you're purchasing in the United States of America. All of the brands that we have right now are putting out high quality bows, and I feel confident that you could shoot any of them very well. So if you like a particular brand, or there's a particular brand near you that you have access to, don't worry and think, oh, should I get if you like that brand, you're going to be okay with that brand. So I think all of the companies are really working hard to put out high quality bows. So every bow that I've shot this year, and I put out a video recently of all the different bows I shot at the ATA show, which is more than what I went over here. But all of them felt nice. So I really don't think you can go wrong. But let's look at the data here. All right, so to start off with, I reviewed the Mathews VXR 28-inch axle to axle, 6-inch brace height. My draw length came in at 30.5. Draw weight hit 70 on the dot. Now over on this side here, I have the draw lengths and then the draw weight at each inch of draw length. Now this red curve here is my draw force curve. I'm not a pro with how these spreadsheets work, and so I didn't know how to take out this. This is just as the draw length increases, this line here. So we want to look at this line here. That's a draw force curve for the Mathews VXR. Our speeds were 336 feet per second with a 350 grain arrow for that 70-pound weight. And our noise was 78.5 decibels. The PSC Carbon Stealth Mach 1, Carbon Stealth Air Mach 1. Here's our draw force curve. A little bit more radical in the uptake than the Mathews. We were at a 6 1/8 inch brace height, 32 5/16 for ATA. Draw length was right at 30. Our peak weight hit 69.9, so a tenth of a pound off of 70. And I did adjust the bows this year to try to get them all as close to 70 as I could. That was maxed out. Our speed was 337 feet per second, 79.3 decibels. Let's scroll down. This is the Tech Revolt right here. Here's our draw force curve for the Tech Revolt. I shot it on comfort setting. They were unable. They were very busy today. They didn't have time to put it to the performance setting. So these are the numbers for the comfort setting. We were at 321 feet per second, 78.7 decibels. The Hoyt axis was 6 1/2 inch brace, 29 5/16 for ATA. Draw length came in at 30 1/2. And draw weight 70.2. Our speeds were 337. Our decibel meter readings were 81.5. Here's our draw force curve. So kind of stays up on that plateau a little bit longer than some of the other bows we saw here. The Hoyt Carbon RX4. This is a 6 1/2 inch brace, 29 5/8 axle to axle. The draw length came at 29.8, so just a hair under 30. And the draw weight hit 69, so we were just a pound shy of 70, but that was maxed out. Here's our draw force curve for the Hoyt RX4, and our speeds were 330 feet per second, 81.5 decibel. This was the Expedition MX-16. Here's our draw force curve. It was 6 1/8 inch brace height. Axle to axle was 32 7/8. Draw length came in at 29.8. The actual draw stop timing was an eighth of an inch off, which threw this bow off a little bit, but it still performed really well as far as our numbers. The draw weight came in at 70.6, 337 feet per second, 80.8 decibels for sound. The Elite Cure, here's our draw curve. We have more of a rounded back end on the draw curve here, which is what's going to give us the smoothest draw for this bow, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Brace height was 6 5/8, ATA 31 3/4. My draw length hit 30 1/4, or no, actually it was 30 1/8, so that should be adjusted. But it was just a hair over 30. Draw weight hit 70.9, so our speed was 327 feet per second and 77.7 decibels. So my fastest bow for today, we had a tie. We had a three-way tie. The PSE Carbon Stealth Air Mach 1, the Hoyt Axis, and the Expedition MX-16. Even with the draws, the draw stop being slightly out, all three measured 337 feet per second. And the Matthews, the VXR, was just a foot per second behind that at 336. My slowest bow of the day was the Tech Revolt on comfort setting at 321 feet per second. Quietest bow of the day was the Elite Cure at 77.7 decibels. The loudest bow was the Hoyt Axis and the Hoyt RX4. Both came in at 81.5 decibels. The smoothest draw, as I pointed out, was the Elite Cure. One thing I want to interject here is that if you want a free bow, I am going to be giving a free bow away in the month of August, and I'm going to make announcements of that probably starting in February. I'll start announcing how to get in on the bow giveaway. I'm going to do the same thing I did last year, put a scripture verse in each video, and then I'm going to call somebody live and say, hey, what was the scripture verse from this particular video? If you've got it, you win the bow. So, all right, so now that we have those data, the fastest and all that, my opinion for this year, in addition to the data, is I think that Elite and Bowtech really are going to take the edge this year as far as best bows because of the technologies that both companies came out with this year for tuning. Having a well-tuned bow is very important to be an accurate archer and very consistent. If your bow's out of tune, it's going to make it difficult for you to be a really good archer. So having a well-tuned bow is important, and sometimes you need a bow press to tune a bow really well with the way bows have traditionally been made. So Elite this year, with their technology, you can actually pivot the limb pocket a little bit, which is going to alter the way the cams are angling, and you can actually pivot that to adjust for your arrow flight to get perfect arrow flight pretty easily. You're just turning a couple screws a little bit to adjust for arrow flight when it's kicking out to the side. And for the Bowtech, they actually have a cam that can be shimmed by turning screws. So again, really great idea, and it makes it quick and easy for you to be able to tune that bow right on the range. I mean, you can be paper tuning. You got a little bit of a tail left, let's say. It's just a matter of turning the screws to shim the cams, tighten it back up, shoot again. Man, you're hitting right on. So those two technologies are giving those companies the edge, in my opinion. Now, I didn't get to shoot the Bowtech on the performance setting. They also have a Revolt X. They only had that with a 60-pound limb today, and I didn't have arrows light enough to shoot it at 5 grains per pound. So if you haven't noticed, 70 pounds, 30-inch draw is what we base our IBO ratings off of. So when a bow advertises a speed, typically it's on that IBO, like 5 grains per pound, and usually we're talking 70 pounds, 30-inch draw. That's typical of what most people are expecting. So that's why I tested all the bows that way. With that, I didn't get to test the performance setting of the Bowtech. It would have been faster, but the draw cycle is not as pleasurable on the performance setting. It's going to come off the back wall a lot easier. So you have that to contend with. When I owned a Bowtech, I shot it on the comfort setting, and they do have a newer limb now. So I think the sore eye for Bowtech in the past was the the limb. They had some issues with limbs breaking. I think they've resolved that now. And I'm definitely proud of Bowtech. They've been really pushing to come out with good technologies over the years, and I think they're doing a good job. So Elite and Bowtech are going to be at the top of my list. Matthews is still an incredible bow too this year. So dead in the hand. I mean, the Bowtech is dead in the hand. The Elite's dead in hand. Matthews, I mean, when those bows go off dead in hand, even the Expedition. I owned the Expeditions for several years. Very dead in the hand. And I just confirmed a few minutes ago, I was on the phone with Expedition. I'm actually going to be heading up to their factory in February. I'm going to shoot all the flagship bows and do a specific review on each of those. I wanted to get this video out for you, but stay tuned for that because we're going to see their whole lineup and tuned properly. The Expedition I shot today, the draw stop timing was a little bit out, so that kind of impacts it a little bit. But as I said, I'm gonna mention this again. I think all of the manufacturers out there are producing good bows. I mean, there's a lot of bows. Bear. I mean, there's just a lot of brands. Obsession, even the Gearhead. All these bows they're good bows. Martin, Darton. I don't think you can go wrong with what's out on the market. So so be good to your local bow shops and give each bow a try, and whatever one works best for you, that you got the best confident feeling with, that's the good bow for you. But I hope this gave you some things to look at and consider as you go into making that bow purchase. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you will stay tuned to my channel and see what's going on at Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Until next time, take care and God bless you.